Hey guys, this is Nikoy, an IT student from AMA Fairview, and I will be doing a video tutorial for our CSITE 10 final laboratory project under the advisory of Mr. Kirk Alvin Awat. In this video, I will be discussing some features or topics about Windows 7, and I will perform an activity for each topic. Here are the topics that I'll be discussing: managing disks, managing file systems, user management, Windows 7 security features, networking, user productivity tools, and performance tuning. So I hope this could somehow help you and hope you learn from this video. Thank you very much and enjoy. So the first topic is managing disks. In managing disks, you will be able to understand common disk technology and related partition styles, basic and dynamic disk storage technology, typical disk management tools and tasks, partition and volume management, and understand VHD disk management. This topic discusses how disks are managed by Windows 7 using basic or dynamic disk architecture. It will look at how the disk space is divided into partitions and volumes that are formatted with file systems to store data to help you decide on and guide your storage solution needs. Disk management, also common interface types, includes SAS, SATA or SATA, IDE, and SCSI. These interface technologies apply limits for how disk hardwares connect to the computer, and depending on the disk technology used, there are limits on how you can use them with Windows 7. So the activity that I'll be doing for the topic about managing disk is using disk part. Let's know first what disk part is. The disk part utility is powerful. It can contain a series of maintenance or repair commands that can be executed as part of a scheduled task or automated response on the local computer or remotely on another computer. It is considered an advanced tool that is not normally used for day-to-day administration. So let's start using the disk part. In this activity, I will start the disk part utility, browse its help utility, and try out some basic disk part commands. Start off, let's click on start button to open the start menu. So on the start menu item, let's click on the computer and let's navigate to the drive C. Open up Windows folder and open up System32 folder. Let's browse down or scroll down and let's search for the file named diskpart.exe. diskpart.exe. So if you are prompted by user account control for permission to run this program, just click on the yes button. Notice that a command line appeared. This is the interface of the diskpart utility. So let's try using some commands, some basic commands that can be run inside the diskpart utility. Let's type in help to see list of diskpart commands. These are the list of the commands that can be used inside the diskpart utility. These are on the right side of the commands are the description explaining the uses of the commands. So to see information about the select command, let's type help select. Sorry, select. So here, these are the commands that can be selected, used for the select commands. Select disk, select partition, select volume, and select vdisk or virtual disk. So let's try selecting the disk. Type in help select and space disk. So again, this shows some commands and examples for select disk command together with their descriptions. So to see what disks can be selected, let's type in list space disk. The disk part utility has not been focused on a particular disk yet, so some commands will not be able to run. Let's type in list partition. Note that there's an error message saying that there is no disk selected to list partitions. Select a disk and try again. So here are the list of disks that can be selected: disk 0 and disk 1. To focus attention on the first disk or the disk 0, let's type in select disk equals to 0. Now we are prompted that disk 0 is now the selected disk. Let's try entering the list partition command to see if there's still an error message. Partition. Note that there are no error message shown, and the disk part utility shows or displays the partition that is inside the disk 0. The partition 1, the partition 2, and the partition 3, which is used for recovery. Now, to see what volumes are visible to the disk part utility, let's type in list volume. So here are the volumes and the volume letters, or the drive letters of the drives that are inside the disk part utility. Now, to leave the disk part utility, just simply type exit. Notice that the command line closes. Now the next topic is managing file systems. This chapter identifies the common file systems used in Windows 7, the properties of files stored on them, securing those files, and how to access previous versions of files. Let's determine what a file system is. A file system allows the operating system to store and organize files on a hard disk. The choice of file system can limit the total amount of data stored in a partition or volume, the number of files, the size of files, their names, attributes, and other properties. So Windows 7 support 5 file systems. These are file allocation table, NT file system, the universal disk format, CDFS file system, and the extended file allocation table. And for this topic, I'll be doing the managing file and folder permissions activity. In this activity, I will create a new folder called marketing documents. The default permissions are removed and replaced with permissions that allow the user account to access the folder. I will create a file in the folder and investigate its resulting inherited permissions. So just click on the start button, just click on the computer. I will be creating a new folder inside the volume C or the drive C. So click on the drive C. Creating a folder called marketing documents. Right click on the marketing documents folder, click on the properties, click the security tab, click on the advanced button. Click the effective permissions tab, then click the select button. Let's type my username. Type your username, then click on the check names button to verify the name and click OK. On the effective permissions tab, notice which individual permissions have a check mark on them and next to them. You have all available permissions because your account is a local administrator. Now click on the owner tab. Note the current owner of the folder. Your account is the owner of the folder because you created it. Click the permissions tab. Click the change permissions button. And it opens a new window that allows you to change the folder's permission. Uncheck the include inheritable permissions from the object's parent. In the Windows security warning dialog, click remove button to start with blank security settings for the marketing documents folder. Then click add button in the advanced security settings for marketing documents windows to open the select user or group window. Click on add. Enter the username. Click OK. In the allow column, place a check next to full control permission. Note that all other individual permissions are automatically assigned and that the permission scope is set to this folder, subfolder, and files. Then click OK. Note the new permission Note the new permission entry on the Permissions tab in the Advanced Security window. Notice that the inherited from column shows as not inherited for directly assigned permission. Then click OK. Click OK again. Notice the new permission setting and the simpler view on the security tab. Click OK to close the marketing documents properties window. Now create a new text document called first quarter report. Notepad. Save it in the marketing documents folder. Save. So let's open the folder, right click on the file, click properties, click security tab. Notice that permissions from the marketing documents folder are inherited by this file. Then let's click cancel and close the Windows Explorer, and that ends this topic's tutorial. Let's move on to the third topic. The next or the third topic is about user management. User management allows you to describe local user accounts and groups, create and manage user accounts, manage profiles, describe Windows 7 integration with networks, and configure and use parental controls. User accounts are required for individuals to log on to Windows 7 and use resources on the computer. Each user account has attributes that describe the user and control access. Some user account attributes are name, password, group membership, and the profile location. For this topic, I'll be modifying the public profile. First, let me discuss to you what a public profile is. So, the public profile is different from other profiles because it is not a complete profile. The public profile does not include an NT-user.dat file and consequently does not include any registry settings. The public profile is a series of folders. The content of these folders is merged into the profiles of other users when they log on. So let's start modifying the public profile. Public profile is merged into the profile of all users. Adding content to the public profile means that the content is available to all users. In this activity, I will place a file in the public documents folder which makes it available to all users. Let's click on the start button, select the computer from the start menu. In the left pane, expand the local C, open users folder, open public folder, then click public documents. In the right pane, right click on open area, then let's create a new shortcut. In the type the location of the item text box or item box. Type in the path C Windows slash Windows slash notepad.exe, then click next. So in the type a name for the shortcut text box or type notepad, then click finish. Right click the notepad shortcut and click cut. In the Windows Explorer address bar, type the path user public slash, change this to desktop, click enter. Right click on empty area anywhere, click paste. Notice that even an administrative user is prompted for permission to copy files here. So let's click continue. So notice that there is now a shortcut to Notepad on your desktop. Double click the Notepad shortcut, test if it's working, and yes, it's working. Close the Notepad. So let's minimize this first. And now we see that the Notepad icon appears on the desktop. Let's click on it. It's working. So that would be all for modifying the public profile. The Windows 7 security features. Security threats are constantly evolving, and Windows 7 has new features to address the new threats found on the internet and elsewhere. Many of these features were also included in Windows Vista, but have been improved or refined in Windows 7. The major security improvements in Windows 7 are the malware protection, easier deployment of alternative authentication methods, enhanced network protection, data protection for stolen hard drives, and the App Locker for software restriction. For this topic, I'll be doing the installation of Microsoft Security Essentials. Microsoft Security Essentials is an antivirus software that can be freely downloaded for genuine versions of Windows 7. In this activity, I will download and install Microsoft Security Essentials. This activity requires access to the internet, so make sure that you are connected to the internet. On the taskbar, click on the Internet Explorer. In the Internet Explorer address bar, type in, let's maximize this first, type in http www.microsoft.com/security _ essentials, and press enter. Then click the download now button, or the download button. In the file download security warning window, click run. So just wait for a while for this to completely download. In the user account control window, click yes. Then click next. On the Microsoft Security Essentials License Agreement page, click the I accept button. Next, click the install button. Click finish. So by default, the latest updates are downloaded, and then a quick scan is performed. Wait until the process is complete. It may take more than 10 minutes. So once the update and the scanning is complete, you can now close the Microsoft Security Essentials. So the Windows or the Microsoft Security Essentials is now scanning. Let's wait until it finishes off, and we can close the Essentials, the Microsoft Security Essentials. So let's move on to the next topic, which is networking. Networking features of Windows 7 helps you understand Windows 7 network components and Windows 7 network architecture. Allows you to describe and configure Internet Protocol version 4, IPv4, and Internet Protocol version 6, the IPv6. You can also perform and monitor file sharing, connect Windows 7 to the Internet, describe and configure wireless networking, and you can configure Windows Firewall, network bridging, and home group networks. The basic components of Windows 7 that supports networking are Network and Sharing Center, Networks and Connections. And now I'll be doing an activity using ipconfig and netsh. Windows 7 includes ipconfig and netsh to view and configure IPv4 at the command line. These utilities can also be used for scripting. ipconfig is used to view IPv4 configuration or release and renew IP configuration from a DHCP server. netsh can be used to configure IPv4. In this activity, I will use ipconfig and netsh to view and configure IPv4. So to start, let's click on the start button, just type in cmd to open the command line. Right click on the cmd file and run it as administrator. Click yes. So we're now at the command line interface. At the command prompt, type ipconfig. Oh, sorry. This command displays a summary of your IPv4 or and IPv6 information. Let's try typing ipconfig/all. So you'll notice that this command displays a much longer list of IP configuration information. Included are the physical address, subnet masks, whether DHCP is enabled, default gateway, IPv4 address, and DNS servers, stuff like that. So now let's try typing ipconfig/release. This command releases the DHCP address on your computer. Notice that no IPv4 address is listed in the result. IPv6, no IPv4. And notice that the network connection has an error. So let's try typing ipconfig/renew. This command renews a DHCP address on your computer or obtains a new one. Notice that the newly acquired IPv4 address is displayed. IPv4 address 192.168.255.102, and notice that the error icon on the signal of your internet is gone. So let's try typing in netsh. So notice that the prompt changes to netsh. NetSH can be used in an interactive mode where you navigate through menu levels to view information. So while inside the NetSH prompt, let's try typing in interface. This command changes to the interface context, where you can get more information about network interface configurations. And now let's type in IPv4. And then again, this command changes to the IPv4 context, where you can get more information about IPv4 configuration. Just type in show to display a list of information that can be displayed. let's try typing in show addresses. To shows IP address configuration. Show addresses. Oops. So these are the addresses, the IPv4 addresses that is used by the computer. Now let's try typing in set address. This command shows help information on how to configure an IP address for DHCP or as static. If a command is missing required information, the help screen for the command is automatically output. So that would be all for using ipconfig and netsh. Let's type in exit to exit from the IPv4 context, and then let's close the command prompt and let's proceed to the next topic. The next topic is the user productivity tools. User productivity tools enables us to understand and configure Windows printing or Windows 7 printing, understand Windows fax and scan, use Windows Explorer libraries, find files by using search, and describe the feature in Internet Explorer 8. Later on, I'll be performing an activity on how to organize files. In organizing files, the libraries added to Windows 7 allows you to centralize files from multiple locations in a single virtual folder. This helps you find the files you need faster. In this activity, I will use libraries to organize and view files. And to start, let's click on the start button and click on the documents to display the documents library. If your view is using extra large icons, change the view to something easier to read. For example, medium icons or small icons. In the left pane, expand documents. You can see that the documents library includes my documents and public documents. Now right click on documents and click properties. In the document properties window, click include a folder button. In the include folder in document window, scroll down the left pane, search, then click local drive C and click include folder. Now drive C is now listed as a library location, and then click OK. Notice that the folder view has changed to organize the contents based on folder. Now you can create files and copy files to a specific location in the library. Arrange by folder and click modified date. Click modified. Notice that the files from all locations including subfolders are now sorted by date of modification with no indication which location they are stored. Now let's try arranging them by date modified, and click on the name. Now you'll see that files are now sorted only by name. There are no reference to locations or folders. Now let's try arranging it by name, and click sorting it by type. So the files from all locations into virtual folders based on the file type. Each file type is in particular virtual folder. Now let's proceed to the next topic and close this Windows Explorer. And now for the final topic, I'll be discussing about performance tuning. Performance tuning is a process rather than an event. In an ideal world, an effective performance tuning process is initiated well before problems occur. However, in most cases, performance tuning is not even considered until a performance problem exists. The performance tuning process consists of establishing a baseline, recognizing bottlenecks, and tuning performance. So for this topic, I'll be showing you how to use Performance Monitor. Performance Monitor allows you to view the value of performance counters. You can choose to display the values in several different formats. The formats allow you to monitor system performance. In this activity, I'll use Performance Monitor to view system activity. And to start, I'll click on the Start button, click on the Control Panel, click on the System Security, and click on the Administrative Tools. Now, inside the Administrative Tools window, I'll double click on the Performance Monitor. So, if necessary, expand the monitoring tools, then click Performance Monitor, and the display will change. And you can see that by default, percent processor time is displayed. The default report type shown is a line chart. In the toolbar, click the plus symbol. And then in the list of available counters, expand physical disk. Click percent disk time. This counter monitors how often the disk is busy. In the instance of the selected object box, select the 0C drive. This selects disk 0 for monitoring. If multiple disks were present in this computer, multiple instances would be listed. Then check the checkbox of the show description. This displays a description of each counter as you select it. Then click Add. In the list of available counters again, expand memory. and then select the available M bytes. This counter monitors how much physical memory is free for use by processes. Click Add button and then click OK. Notice that 2 new lines are added to the graph. The graph is scaled from 0 to 100, but the new counters may provide values outside the range. At the bottom of the screen, click the % disk time. The last average, minimum, and maximum values now reflect what has been measured for % disk time. Note the average value. A small value here may not register on the scrolling line. A scale value will scale the counter values to better fit in the graph of 0 to 100. The default scale value is 1. Scale value of 1. Right click and click Properties. Select a new color for the counter's display line that will be easy to see and differentiate from the other counters. This will change the color of the line in the chart. Change color to pink or change it to yellow. Click the scale drop down list and select 10.0. Scale 10.0. To multiply all counter values for this counter by 10 before displaying them on the line graph. Click OK to save your changes. Notice that the changes are immediate across the graph. At the bottom of each of the screen, right-click Available M bytes and click Scale Selected Counters. This automatically changes the scale used to measure the counter. The line for this counter was previously at the very top of the chart and did not provide useful information. Click the Change Graph Type button again. Change graph type. This changes the graph to a report. In the left pane, right-click Performance Monitor and click Properties. Notice that on the General tab, you can modify the graph sample rate and the time span that is displayed. Sample and duration. Click Cancel. Let's just close this window. So I hope you learn something from this video tutorial. Once again, this is Nicoy from AMA Fairview. Pleasant day to everyone. Thank you very much.